Yeah, because the other day I was talking to my friend Jason, who he's a not a psychology, he's a philosophy graduate student in environmental and sciences. And we were like talking about it, and like the thing that came to mind was that usually with like these systems, like with the economic system and with money, I guess in general, when you have something that is more, it's like removed from like a material manifestation, I guess. You know, it's like it's not like a one-to-one with resources.
Right.
It seems as though the whole idea is that you kind of abstract that like a material good into a dollar. Right. And then you're supposed to use that kind of abstraction as a way to organize the rest of the system, so that like it still makes sense with the material realm, but that's like at the end of the day, that's the important part. So it's like when you like buy a good, it's like what you're doing is like you're buying food. And why do we need to have food? It's like so we can live, right? So that we can eat and not starve to death.
Yeah.
And so that's what the money is for, so that we don't starve to death. But when you get into this idea of like the profit margins or like stuff like that, you start working internally in that abstract system,
playing with money instead of it being connected to real goods.
Well,
Exactly.
they have like stockholders that like every quarter they have to make more and more profit.
Yeah.
But because it's not it's not localized though in like a material thing. It's not
tied to the real world.
Exactly.
The real economy,
Exactly.
which I think creates like these bubbles that pop because it's an illusion.
Exactly.
But I mean, that's like the biggest thing with this tax cut that corporations have done is buy back their own stock.
Right, I remember you saying
Just
that.
to inflate the stock price, because the CEOs make their money based off how high the stock goes up.
Right.
So I mean, they're just playing money games. Nothing was made. Nothing was produced.
Well, that's why I get confused.
They're essentially walking into the government treasury and taking bags of money out. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, manipulating it to make more.
Well, and
money.
it's not like it's even weirder than that, because it's not even like they're taking the money, because it's all through capital, right?
Yeah.
It's not even like they're actually, because like the idea would be that why do you have money in the first place, and it's so that you can buy goods.
Right.
Right. But instead, what they're doing is just like taking money from like one bank account and putting it in another bank account,
and then it grows for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's doing literally nothing.
Yeah.
And so I guess I get confused with like the idea that like in schools they're teaching about velocity and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, but like where the fuck is that application? You know, like where, like it's obviously not affecting anything, because it's like there's that kind of stuff still happens.
You mean it's not convincing rich people to spend their money to ways that go back into the economy?
Well, I mean, that would be the idea. That would be, I guess, the issue.
Yeah, but I mean, I think you're thinking that most of these people... So the premise underlying that idea is that these wealthy people care about the overall health of the economy as their primary goal.
Right, exactly.
I think most of them have an ideology mainly based around just their own personal wealth.
But which
they think is like a healthy attitude to have, because that's kind of the ideology underlying capitalism, is that capitalism works best when everyone only cares about what's best for themselves.
Right.
You know, the whole Adam Smith, the invisible hand, by each person seeking their own self-interest, all are, benefited.
But I guess for me, I get confused at that, because it's like, what arguments are they actually using to say that that's true, that capitalism is like a good economic system? Because that's literally what it's supposed to be.
Usually what they'll point to, from what I've seen, is they'll just kind of be like, look how much better the world is than it was 200 years ago. Look, capitalism has made things better.
Totally.
Look at the statistics of people coming out of poverty in third world countries and all that, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they point to the innovations of technology, which have made life better for civilization, as validating the existence of the profit motive as the central ideology.
And even that, I feel like, is too abstract, because I don't think that even technology has a one-to-one relationship with like the material needs of like human beings and like the biosphere or anything like that.
Well, yeah, that has within it two underlying premises as well, which is that, capitalism is the only thing that's going to develop technology in this way.
Yeah, right.
And B, that technology is being used to fix human problems at a rate that is, acceptable.
Totally.
And I think we see with the climate crisis and various other things that is not the case.
Yeah.
And we have the technology to face these problems.
Right.
But capitalism is actively stopping us from doing so because
Totally.
of the moneyed interest. So
And
it invalidates its own arguments.
Totally. Which, yeah, to me, I'm always just like, why don't people just see that? Why don't people just see that it obviously isn't doing what they're saying they're doing? So they're just like not being honest at the end of the day. There's something else going on.
I think a lot of them believe it. I mean, I'm sure there are those who don't, really just don't give a shit. But I mean, there was like that guy that we went to stay at his place, that billionaire, he owns multiple companies and all that shit. And I mean, the way he was able to make it make sense to him is he just doesn't believe in climate change. He's convinced himself climate change isn't real.
Right. And that, I guess, is like, again, that... I mean, you can't just remove something from materiality and just, like, then kind of, like, live your life that way.
That's what he's doing.
I know, but what I guess what I'm saying is, like, you can't do that, like, ethically. Like, it's not ethical. You can't just say you aren't hungry and then no bad consequences happen. Sure, you can do it for 2 weeks and then you'll die if you don't eat anything, right?
We're just on a longer timetable where these people aren't going to see the consequences of their own actions.
Totally.
Or they don't care. I mean, I think a lot of these people are probably sociopathic.